What's up, everyone? Happy Monday. Welcome back. If you did watch our last video last week on homestead exemptions, this is kind of the follow-up video. You heard at the end I alluded to another way for tax savings. Well, that's portability. So that's what this video is going to be about. You might also see portability is also called Save Our Homes a lot of places, which is SOH. It shows it's in parentheses, capital. It's on your tax roll and a lot of things. Same thing. They're interchangeable, whether it says portability or Save Our Homes. It is the portable tax savings that you have on your primary residence that you're able to move. The big crossover and the big thing is homestead exemption. The last video I talked about, there's a 3% cap, and it's the biggest difference in why a homestead exemption is really so beneficial is it caps your property value. So the longer that you stay there, if your assessed value and everything continues rise, and your market value, your taxable value gets capped at a 3% rise. So for instance, my property last year, I got my paperwork and I just saw our taxes went up right around 21%. We got taxed at a 3% rate because that was homesteaded property. So that 18% tax savings, that's really what's portable. So my easiest way to kind of explain that is year over year, that 18% is also equated to a dollar amount, and it kind of hopefully grows as the difference between how you're capping at 3% and how the market's moving, which is anywhere from 6 to 10, 12%, some years 20%. That cushion, that difference is what is your portable tax savings. So now that money, there's a couple limitations to it. It needs to be on a primary residence and transferred to another primary residence. And there is a maximum. Maximum is $500,000. So if you were in a home for a long time and you've been in a big boom, you might have 800,000, $1 million in savings. Unfortunately, the max you can move is 500,000. Now, I will tell you in most areas, depending on what your millage rate is, and it does fluctuate city to city, county to county, that equates to right around $10,000 a year in tax savings. That's huge. $900 a month. I mean, I don't have to tell you guys that. It's a lot of money. So that's really the biggest thing is the portability and the tax savings, which I talk to a lot of people now, and I think their biggest concern is, what do I do if I bought my house at 400,000, even if it's worth $1 million? My new one, when I buy it at 900,000 or $1 million, the tax savings are going to be on that purchase number. Luckily, you can move your portable tax savings from that prior residence, and that won't be a problem. So it's not handcuffing people the way that a lot of people expect it would. Another kind of big thing to know is what your limits are. So if you're upgrading on the home and the price of your home is the same or higher, you can take 100% up to your $500,000 of your taxable, your portability savings. If you're going the other way, there's a calculation. I'll drop it below because I don't want to get into it. It'll be a whole nother video. But if you're going down, if you're in $1 million home and you're now buying a $700,000 or $600,000 home, you won't be able to, let's put it this way, $1 million home and now you're buying a $500,000 home. You won't be able to take your $500,000 in tax savings and make zero taxes. I know we don't love that. It'd never fly with the government in that way. They're not just going to allow you to basically remove all property taxes. Although DeSantis is trying it, there'd be other ways, and that's a whole nother video. But basically, it's just something, there is a cap and there's a percentage, but you're basically, if you're scaled down at 20 or 25% of value of your property, you lose 25% of that tax portability, in short. But I will put a link to the calculator down below. It's the easiest way for you guys to kind of do it on your case-by-case basis. Because like I said, everyone is a little bit different. Now, there are a couple big things. So if you potentially are not moving, if you sell your house right now, your portability, you have 3 tax years to designate a new primary residence to port that tax savings to. So let's say you want to go travel for a year, go abroad, or you're just going to rent because you don't know what you're going to do or what's going on with the market. Don't feel like you're going to, oh my God, I'm going to lose these $10,000 a year in savings that I've worked so hard to accumulate. You won't. You have 3 tax years to do it. Combining and breaking up, divorce, which I had mentioned earlier, of portability. So let's say with your divorce and you have $500,000 in tax savings. You can split that portability up any way you'd like. It does not need to be 50-50. It just needs to be in writing. So it can be 70-30, it can be 60-40, 50-50, it can be 110. But that you're not both getting 500,000. It's 500,000 combined, and it can be split up any way you two would like, unfortunately, when you get a divorce. Opposite. 2 separate people own their homes. Let's say they both have 300,000 in one has 400,000 and one has 300,000 in tax savings. and you now go, you have your portability and you move it together. You don't get your 700,000 and you don't even get the cap of 5. It's one of the little intricacies of this. You take the larger of the two. So for this example, if you had 300,000 and 400,000, you would take the 400,000, use that as the portability. Unfortunately, the other person would lose their 300. They would, if you potentially in the next 3 years bought a house and it became their homestead again, they would be able to move it back over. But that's one of the small little differences. That is the basic overall concept of portability. Portability is phenomenal and it really adds up over time. You kind of think, oh, it's not a big deal. It's $12,000, $50,000, it saves me $700 a year. I have a lot of clients that max out their $500,000 portability in 5 to 10 years. So if it's a home that is your primary and you're just living there, it's a nice way if the market kind of runs up from you, you don't necessarily get caught not being able to afford taxes at the new home. I know that's a lot of people's issues with moving is, hey, the market's moved so much, even if my interest rate's the same, my taxes on the new home are now going to be X, Y, and Z. They're still going to go up, but there's a big way to save your kind of savings there and not just get killed at a new price point that you're purchasing. A couple other things, just like with the homestead exemption, portability, it does not transfer. You must apply. It's not automatic. So just because you do homestead, a lot of times when you do it, they allow you to also do your portability paperwork at the same time. You can also go online, and I'll link it down below, to just do the portability portion. But if your last house was homesteaded and or had portability on it, it does not just automatically move with you to the new property. You have to file to port that savings from one to the other. You guys have any other topics you want me to go over? It's big for me. I want to continue to provide value in not just if you're my client, you're my friend, whoever. If you have questions anywhere in the real estate world, I'd like to be able to answer what I can. That's something I pride myself on, is sharing the knowledge that I have and hopefully making your life a little bit easier the next time you do something in the real estate world. If you could, please like, subscribe, share, follow. It really does go a long way. I know people kind of say it and it's kind of, but it really does. It helps. And I appreciate it as well. The support in the last video was huge, and that's kind of why I'm really hoping to try and do 1 to 2 of these a week. So thank you guys again, and have a great Monday.